Imagine walking 5,000 years back in time, to a world without cities, kings, or borders. A world where every day is a struggle for survival. Welcome to Echo of Empires. Ready to see the first sparks of human civilization, and not just in one place, but every corner of the world at once. Hunters, gatherers, every meal uncertain. Every day a gamble with nature, then, seeds. Tiny grains of hope that changed history. A little girl watches her father plant wheat. Every seed a dream, every day a test. No more endless wandering, shelters appear, villages grow. The first cities are born. Mesopotamia, Egypt, Indus Valley. The Yellow River in China. Four corners of the ancient world. All experimenting with food, water, and community. Writing appears cuneiform in Mesopotamia, hieroglyphs in Egypt. Humanity can now record stories, laws, trade. Every symbol a miracle carved in clay or painted on stone. While civilizations thrive in Mesopotamia and Egypt, in Europe people live in small tribes, in Africa hunters follow herds, and in the Americas early farmers are discovering maize. All happening simultaneously, a dance of human ambition across the globe. Imagine waking up to a city that never sleeps. Streets buzzing, markets alive, people trading, arguing, celebrating. This is the first taste of urban life. Mesopotamia is booming. Farmers bring surplus wheat to the city, merchants carry clay tablets, selling goods far and wide. The first temples and ziggurats tower over the city. While Mesopotamians build cities, in Egypt, along the Nile, irrigation canals flow. Farmers harness floods, growing wheat and barley. Pharaohs start centralizing power. Temples and tombs begin to dominate the landscape. In the Indus Valley, cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa rise with grid streets and sophisticated plumbing. Imagine baths, water channels, and organized streets 4,000 years before Europe. And in China, along the Yellow River, rice paddies stretch as far as the eye can see. Communities grow, elders teach the young about planting, harvesting, and rituals. Meet Ayu, a 10-year-old girl in Mesopotamia. Every day she helps her family plant and harvest wheat. Every seed is a hope, every season a challenge. Her brother carries clay tablets to the city market, learning the art of trade. Through Ayu's eyes, we see how human life is transforming, and how small efforts build civilizations that will last millennia. Even without modern transport, ideas spread. Farmers experiment, traders move goods and knowledge. Civilization is no longer isolated. The world is slowly connected through innovation, agriculture, and culture. Imagine a city where laws are written, rulers make decisions, and armies are raised. Humanity is no longer just surviving, it is organizing. Mesopotamia sees the rise of its first kings. Temples are not just for gods, they are centers of power and administration. Farmers pay taxes, scribes record trade, and soldiers patrol the streets. In Egypt, the pharaoh's power grows. Massive tombs and pyramids symbolize both religion and authority. Farmers work under supervision of officials, canals expand, and cities flourish. In the Indus Valley, city councils and standardized rates suggest early governance. Society is organized with urban planning and rules that ensure survival and trade. In China, tribal leaders evolve into regional rulers. Rice terraces grow larger, communities fortify themselves, and traditions become laws. Meet Taru, a 12-year-old boy in Mesopotamia. His father is a scribe. His mother tends the fields. Taru watches the king make decisions, realizing that rules can shape the destiny of a city. Through his eyes, we understand how order and governance emerge from chaos. Even in these early times, ideas, technology, and culture spread across regions. Writing, agriculture, and governance evolve in parallel. The world is becoming a network of innovations, trade, and civilization. Cities are no longer isolated. Powerful rulers begin to unite multiple cities under one banner. Armies march, trade routes expand, laws govern larger territories. Mesopotamia sees the rise of Akkad, the first known empire, connecting city-states with roads and communication. Kings now command not just villages but vast lands. In Egypt, the pharaohs continue to consolidate power. Trade expands along the Nile and across deserts. Temples, pyramids, and monuments symbolize authority and culture. In China, early dynasties centralized leadership along the Yellow River. Irrigation networks grow, armies fortify settlements, and culture thrives with writing, rituals, and crafts. In the Indus Valley, trade networks link distant cities. Standardized weights, city planning, and social organization hint at a proto-empire. Meet Lyra, a 13-year-old girl in Akkad. She watches armies march, scribes record history, and merchants trade. She realizes that cities are no longer small communities, they are part of something bigger, a network of power and culture that spans lands. Even without modern transport, ideas, trade, and culture spread faster than ever. Empires influence neighbors, wars shape boundaries, and technology like irrigation, writing, and metalwork improves daily life. The world is no longer a collection of isolated villages, it is becoming a web of civilizations, each learning from the other. Imagine walking through cities so grand that every street, monument, and temple tells a story of power and ambition. Humanity is no longer just surviving, it is shaping civilizations that will last millennia. In Mesopotamia, the Akkadian Empire unites city-states under a single rule. Kings like Sargon organize armies, trade, and culture on an unprecedented scale. In Egypt, pharaohs build monumental pyramids and temples, symbolizing both religious devotion and supreme authority. Artisans craft statues, priests perform rituals, and farmers work the fertile Nile Valley. In China, early dynasties consolidate power along the Yellow River. Cities are fortified, agriculture expands, and cultural practices like writing and ancestor worship strengthen. In the Indus Valley, cities maintain highly organized urban planning, plumbing, and trade networks, demonstrating that complex societies can thrive without large empires. Meet Neera, a 12-year-old girl in Akkad. She walks through marketplaces, watches soldiers march, and sees scribes documenting history. Through her eyes, we see how empires impact everyday life, connecting faraway cities and cultures. Across the world, civilizations rise in parallel. Ideas, technology, and culture spread through trade, conquest, and communication. From Mesopotamia to Egypt, from the Indus Valley to China, humanity is weaving the first global tapestry of civilizations. The world is now more connected than ever. Cities grow into capitals, kings and emperors rule vast lands. Armies march, trade networks expand, and culture flourishes. In Mesopotamia, the Babylonian Empire rises. Hammurabi writes the first famous code of laws, uniting people under justice and order. In Egypt, pharaohs continue monumental building projects. Temples, pyramids, and statues honor gods and assert power. Festivals fill streets, and Nile trade thrives. In China, the Shang dynasty strengthens central authority. Bronze casting, oracle bones, and walled cities show the rise of organized statecraft and ritual culture. In the Indus Valley, cities maintain urban planning, trade, and water systems, demonstrating that advanced civilization can thrive alongside emerging empires. Meet Eli, a 13-year-old boy in Babylon. He watches scribes record laws, merchants trade, and soldiers patrol the streets. Through Eli's eyes, we see how powerful rulers and empires impact daily life, shaping society and culture. Civilizations are no longer isolated. Ideas, trade, and culture spread rapidly across continents. From Mesopotamia to Egypt, from China to the Indus Valley, humanity is building a global network of civilization empires, knowledge, and culture intertwined. Imagine a vast empire stretching from the Mediterranean to the Indus River, mountains, deserts, rivers, and cities all under one administration. This is the Achaemenid Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great. In Egypt, pharaohs continue monumental building projects. Temples, pyramids, and statues honor gods and assert power. Festivals fill streets, and Nile trade thrives. While Persia grows, Greece sees the rise of city-states like Athens and Sparta. Democracy, philosophy, and art start shaping Western civilization. In China, dynasties like Zhou consolidate power, develop irrigation, and strengthen cultural traditions. In Egypt, centralized pharaohs maintain monumental architecture and Nile-based trade, connecting culture, religion, and governance. Meet Dara, a 12-year-old boy in Persia. He watches messengers travel along royal roads, trades flourish in bustling markets, and diverse peoples interact under a single empire. Through Dara's eyes, we see how empires shape daily life, culture, and connections across continents. With empires like Persia, Greece, China, and Egypt simultaneously flourishing, the world experiences its first truly interconnected civilizations. Ideas, trade, technology, and culture are shared across vast distances. The Persian Empire, vast and organized, now faces rising challengers. In the West, Greek city-states like Athens and Sparta refuse to bow to Persian power. Battles like Marathon and Thermopylae become legendary. A few thousand Greeks resist a massive Persian force. Though Persia remains powerful, the Greeks prove that small but united states can challenge a superpower. After resisting Persia, Athens flourishes in democracy, philosophy, theater, and art. Sparta focuses on discipline, training, and military strength. Two different paths, but both shape the future of Western civilization. While Persia and Greece clash, China's Zhou dynasty develops philosophies like Confucianism and Taoism, shaping ethics and governance for centuries. In India, the Maurya Empire emerges, uniting much of the subcontinent, with leaders like Ashoka promoting Buddhism and peace after conquest. Egypt, once the heart of power, now faces new challenges. Foreign rulers, invasions, and internal struggles weaken the once great kingdom, though its culture and architecture still inspire awe. Now imagine a young Greek messenger named Nikos traveling across the Mediterranean. He hears stories of mighty Persia, wise philosophers in Athens, powerful kings in India, and ancient monuments in Egypt. Through his journey, we see how connected the ancient world is becoming. The stage is set, empires rise, clash, and inspire. The world is now a stage of warriors, philosophers, kings, and visionaries. And soon, a new conqueror will arrive to change everything. From the small kingdom of Macedonia, a young man rises. Alexander, taught by the great philosopher Aristotle, dreams not of ruling a small land but of conquering the entire known world. With unmatched speed, Alexander defeats the powerful Persian Empire. Battle after battle, he proves himself unstoppable. Cities fall, empires crumble, and his legend grows. Alexander doesn't just conquer, he unites. In the lands he takes, Greek culture mixes with Persian, Egyptian, and Indian traditions. This fusion creates a new world, the Hellenistic Age. In Egypt, Alexander founds the city of Alexandria, which later becomes a center of knowledge, science, and trade. It is here that the famous Library of Alexandria will one day rise. Alexander pushes farther than any conqueror before him, reaching India. At the Battle of the Hydaspes, he faces King Paris and his war elephants. The clash is brutal but shows Alexander's ambition to reach the edge of the world. From small villages to mighty empires, from early kingdoms to classical civilizations, humanity is writing history on a global scale. The stage is set for even greater empires, innovations, and cultural achievements that will define the world. But even legends are mortal. At just 32 years old, Alexander dies suddenly in Babylon. His empire, the largest the world had ever seen, fractures into smaller kingdoms, yet his legacy lives on. Long ago, on the banks of the Tiber River, a small settlement was born, Rome. At first, it was just farmers and shepherds. But Rome carried a fire inside, a fire to rule the world. Rome begins as a republic, where citizens debate, argue, and vote. Senators in white togas speak passionately about law, order, and honor. This unique system makes Rome stronger than its rivals. But what really makes Rome unstoppable is its army. Organized, disciplined, and fearless, Roman legions march across Europe, defeating mighty enemies. Rome faces its greatest enemy in the city of Carthage. The legendary general Hannibal crosses the Alps with war elephants, shocking the Romans. Yet, after years of bloody battles, Rome triumphs, becoming master of the Mediterranean. Then comes Julius Caesar, one of history's most brilliant leaders. He conquers Gaul, wins the hearts of the people, and declares himself ruler of Rome, but power brings enemies. On the Ides of March, Caesar is betrayed by his closest friends. After Caesar, Rome transforms from a republic into an empire. Under leaders like Augustus, Rome becomes the greatest power the world has ever seen, ruling lands from Britain to Egypt. Roads, aqueducts, and grand monuments rise everywhere. In the heart of Rome, the Colosseum roars with the cheers of thousands. Gladiators fight, lions roar, and emperors watch with pride. It is entertainment, but also a symbol of Rome's power. Rome doesn't just conquer with swords, it spreads law, architecture, language, and culture that still shape our world today. The idea of citizenship, justice, and empire all come from Rome. Rome was once unstoppable, but every empire has weaknesses. Corruption, greed, and endless wars begin to eat away at its strength. The once mighty Republic of Laws is now an empire drowning in politics and betrayal. From the north, fierce tribes known as the Goths and Vandals march against Rome. They are warriors hardened by survival, and they see Rome's riches as their prize. In 410 AD, the unimaginable happens. Rome itself is attacked. The Eternal City, once the heart of the world, is burned and looted. The world watches in shock. By 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire collapses. A young emperor named Romulus Augustulus is dethroned, and with him, the glory of Rome fades. The empire that ruled the world for centuries is gone. But not all is lost. In the east, Byzantium, later known as Constantinople, remains strong, keeping Roman culture alive for another 1,000 years. With Rome gone in the west, Europe enters a new chapter, the Middle Ages. Kingdoms rise, faith spreads, and new powers fight for dominance. The fall of Rome is not the end, it's the beginning of something new. The fall of Rome reminds us, no empire lasts forever, but from its ashes, new worlds are born. In the next part, we'll step into the Middle Ages, a time of knights, castles, and epic battles.